Hello,
Mala, good morning.
good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, thanks God. I hope that you are getting better and better right now.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, thanks God. Okay, so I think as usual, I have to share the screen and we have to complete discussing the punctuation marks. Okay,
Yeah,
so I think today we have to discuss a new punctuation mark. All of them, to be honest, are extremely important because you need them in writing. So
yeah,
exactly. Let me open the file of punctuation marks and let's discuss the punctuation mark that we have to use, which is apostrophe. Okay. After discussing most of the punctuation marks, let's recap. Let's discuss the punctuation marks that we have discussed till now. So we have covered the period, the comma, the semicolon, the colon, the exclamation mark, amazing, and the hyphen. And we don't have to forget that we have discussed the quotation marks. Okay, so today we have we have to discuss the apostrophe. I know that you know the rule of using the apostrophe, but let me just try to explain the rules. Maybe there is a certain rule you don't know about using the apostrophe. So the apostrophes have two main uses. One, they show position. Two, they indicate letters have been removed to form a contraction or abbreviation. So let's discuss these two uses about using the apostrophe. Okay, so rule number one is saying apostrophes and possessive nouns. So we use apostrophes to indicate that something belongs to someone. Absolutely, in this way, we have to use the apostrophe S for singular nouns. Absolutely, we have some examples just to show that. So let's take a look at this example. The first example is saying the boy's bike. So notice that I added the apostrophe S just to show the position of this bike to the boy. So instead of saying the bike of the boy, I can say the boy's bike.
bike. Yeah,
Exactly. It is the same with the next example, the dog's bone. So the bone of the dog. And the third example is saying Jack's car. And it is the car of Jack's. Absolutely. I added the apostrophe S to the name, like the final example, Emily's baby, who is the baby of Emily. So this is it. This is the rule number one, which is talking about position. Okay. Now, I need you to be careful, Malak, if the noun is plural. Now, if the noun is plural, we have to add only apostrophe. We don't have to duplicate the S with the plural noun. Absolutely, we are talking about regular plural and even irregular. Okay, let's take a look at this example. This example is saying the boys' bikes. So notice that the boys is regular plural. I mean, I have to add S just to mention the plural. So I don't have to duplicate the S like this. I only have to add I only have to add apostrophe. But notice that the apostrophe should be after the plural S, not before, because if it is before, now I'm talking about the singular. Okay?
mm,
So it's like the next example when I want to say the dog's bones. So the bones of the dogs. And because the dogs is a plural, I have to write the apostrophe, which is after S. If the dog is singular, absolutely, the apostrophe should be before S, just to mention the singular.
singular. Yeah,
Oh, bravo. The final example is saying his parents' car. So the car of two parents, I'm talking about plural. So please be careful because you don't have to duplicate the S because we have already had the S plural. Okay, Now, what if the plural is irregular? I mean, the plural of a child is children, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, bravo. The plural of a person is people, the plural of man is man, a woman is woman, for example. So this is called irregular plural. Now, if
Yeah.
you have, exactly, if you have, sorry, irregular plural, you have to add the S. That doesn't mean I don't have to add the apostrophe S or the apostrophe S, but we have to add the apostrophe plus S. This is the example. So notice that the children's teacher, who is the teacher of the children, and I know that the children is a plural, but because it is irregular plural, I don't have any S at the end of the noun. Because of that, I have to add the apostrophe S. Keep in mind that sheep is uncountable noun. Even with uncountable nouns, Malak, I have to add S. When I say uncountable nouns, I mean like information, homework, sand, salt, sugar. Notice that all these nouns are uncountable nouns. I cannot add S with these nouns.
Okay.
So please be careful. Even if the noun is uncountable plus irregular plural, I have to add the apostrophe S just to mention the position. So the sheep's wool, this is it. I have to add the apostrophe S. The final example is the women's university. So notice the woman is irregular plural, so I have to add apostrophe S. Only if the plural is regular, I mean, I already have S with the plural, I don't have to duplicate the S. Okay, now let's talk about this rule. This rule is saying singular nouns ending in S can either end in apostrophe, end in an apostrophe, okay, or just S to show position. So we have two ways or two options. Different style guides have different preferences, but both ways are correct. Let's take a look at this example. We notice that these are proper names. Locust, Thomas, Paris. This is not a proper name, but a name of a country. So notice that these nouns, we have already S with these nouns. And these nouns are singular, but not plural. Now, if you have proper nouns or common nouns and these nouns end with S, you have two ways. You can add another S to the singular proper noun, for example, Thomas. Notice that Thomas, for example, we have already S, but because it is a proper name and this S, I know that this name ends with S, but that doesn't mean that I have to add only apostrophe S. I can add apostrophe S or I can add only S. So notice that it is Thomas's birthday and the next one I have to say it is Thomas' birthday. So notice that both ways are correct. Okay?
Correct. Okay.
Okay, so, okay. Now let me show you the next page. Now let's practice. Now, where do we need to place apostrophes in these sentences?
Okay, the first sentence is the last rule.
Okay, so where should I put the S?
Both are
The apostrophe,
apostrophe.
sorry. Yes.
Both are correct. We can put apostrophe after S
Uh,
or put apostrophe S.
mhm. Okay, but let me tell you something. Jack is the name. I don't think
Yeah.
that we have a name like Jack's, only Jack. Am I right?
Okay.
Uh-huh. So,
Not a name.
it's Jack's is not a name, but Jack is a name. So, because of that, where should I write the apostrophe?
Before S.
Yes. So yes, Jack is really a famous name, but Jack's, I mean without apostrophe S, is not a name. So this is why I have to put the apostrophe before the S.
Yeah.
Now the next example is saying the cat's toy is yellow.
After us.
Yeah, this is regular plural. Exactly. I don't have to duplicate the S. Two, the cat's toys are yellow.
It's a plural.
Mm-hmm.
So before us.
Before S. Okay. If you want to write the apostrophe before S, we are talking about more than one toy for one cat.
No, it's more than one cat.
Yeah. And you notice that the next example, if I want to say the cat's toy like this, we have only one toy for more than one cat.
Okay.
So be careful. So this is why sometimes if I change the position of the apostrophe, the whole meaning is going to be changed. So this is it. There is only one cat. Because there is one cat, where should I put the apostrophe?
Before us.
Yes, exactly. This is why I have to be careful. Now notice the next example. There are two cats.
After us.
Yes, this is it. So this is why sometimes, as I told you, the whole meaning is going to be changed if I want to change the position of the apostrophe. Now, the next example, I'm going to my parents' house tomorrow.
Parents, two parents after us.
Yes, exactly. If I want to say parents' house before the S, maybe I'm talking about the mother or the father only.
One of the parents.
Yes. The final example, James' party is tomorrow.
James, it's the last rule, the both are correct.
Yes, exactly. Both of them are correct. I can only add apostrophe and I can add apostrophe S. James's party is
Yeah.
tomorrow. Thank you so much. So be careful. Okay. Now, keep in mind that sometimes it is little confusing if I want to use possessive pronouns. I mean, the personal pronouns, unlike regular nouns, we don't have to use apostrophes to form possessives. Let's take a look at these three examples. Notice it's correct to say the bike is Emily's. Why? Because I can say this is Emily's bike.
Bye.
Bravo. So if you want to say the bike is Emily's, it is correct. And if you want to say this is Emily's bike is correct. And the next example, if I want to say the bike is hers, so notice that hers is a reflexive pronoun. This is it. So if you want to add reflexive pronouns, you don't have to write the apostrophe S at all. So this example is wrong. Now, if you want to say the bike is hers like this is wrong. Why? Because this pronoun shows position. I don't have to write the apostrophe S at all.
Okay.
Okay, Malak?
Okay.
Now, the next example, we notice that here Emily's bike, as we said in the first one, Emily's bike is blue, and I can say her bike is blue. Let me tell you something, the difference between possessive pronouns and reflexive pronouns. All possessive pronouns, Malak, I have to mention the noun after them. I mean, my what? My laptop, your laptop, his laptop, her laptop, its laptop, till the end. But the reflexive pronouns, I don't have to mention any nouns after them. This bike is mine. This bike is yours. This bike is his. This bike is hers. So notice that I use the reflexive pronouns at the end of the sentence without mentioning any noun after them. But the possessive pronouns, I have to mention the noun. This is why this example is wrong, and because there is no noun after it. So
Yeah.
Emily's bike is a blue, and her, this is the possessive pronoun, and this is the noun that we have been talking about. So her bike is blue, but the wrong example is saying she's bike is blue. She's is the abbreviation of has. Okay. Or maybe not abbreviation of has, or maybe it is a possessive apostrophe S, and even apostrophe S is wrong because the apostrophe S should be added to nouns but not to pronouns.
Yeah. Okay.
So be careful because sometimes it is a little confusing.
Okay.
Okay. Now we have more examples. I know that you have understood the rule, but let me show you these examples. So notice that the award is yours, and because yours is a reflexive pronoun, we notice that there is no noun after a reflexive pronoun. But the next example is saying the car is his. His again is a reflexive pronoun. This is it. So I don't have to mention any noun after it. And finally, the money is theirs. Again, this is a reflexive pronoun. So all these pronouns are reflexive pronouns. I mean, I don't have to use possessive S, apostrophe S, sorry, and I don't have even mention a noun after them. Okay?
Mm.
And this example is correct. If I want to say the dog's bone is white, the bone of the dog, this is apostrophe S, and its bone is white. Notice that this is possessive
Mm.
pronoun. Exactly, I have to be careful. And for the final one is wrong because if I want to say its bone is white, this is wrong because this is the abbreviation of it is or it has. And
Okay.
by the way, both of them are wrong. And even if you want to say that this apostrophe S is apostrophe S for position, this is wrong too. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So it's not that hard just to understand the possessive, the apostrophe S. Now, what is the difference between whose and whose? We notice that both of them have the same pronunciation, but absolutely each one of them has a certain function because this whose is to talk about position, and this whose is the abbreviation of who is. So be
Mm.
careful because in the pronunciation, as I told you, they have the same pronunciation. Now we use whose absolutely just to mention possession or belonging, and who is or whose is a contraction of who is, as I told you. So notice the example he is saying, whose car is this? So because this whose is for position, I have to mention the thing that a person possesses or maybe has, because we notice that this person has a car. So this is the noun with whose. But absolutely,
Okay.
who is car is that. So this is wrong. I cannot say whose car is that because this one, whose, is different from whose because this whose is the abbreviation of who is. And absolutely, I cannot say whose car is that. Who is car? So
Mm.
it is Jack's car. This is really correct if you want to say like this. This is the apostrophe S and this is the noun that I have to mention. So because I want to say the car of the Jack, the car of Jack. Now I know a man whose, notice the noun after whose who, whose what, whose daughter, because this man has a daughter, works for
And who
Jennifer.
has? Who
Yeah,
has a dog? Okay.
exactly. So I know the man who has a daughter works. Okay.
Sweater. Okay.
Exactly. Now, the next one is who's going to the conference tomorrow? This is correct because who's is the abbreviation
Who
of what?
is
Who
going?
is bravo. So who's going to the conference tomorrow? This is
Okay.
correct, but this who's is wrong. Please be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And speaker, no one knows absolutely if you are using this who's or this who's, as I told you, because I'm talking about the same pronunciation. But in writing, be careful because each one of them has a certain function. Okay?
Okay.
Now let's practice. Now correct these sentences. Whose phone is this? Where was the mistake in this sentence?
Whose
Mhm. Why?
uh, for who لأنه
Bravo.
who
Uh-huh.
has لازم
Exact.
تكون
Uh,
should be OSE whose.
yes. WHOSE. Whose phone is this? Now it's correct. Two.
Mm.
That isn't
That
my.
isn't my phone. I think it is hers
Uh-huh.
without apostrophe.
Yes, exactly. This is a reflexive pronoun. So please, it
Mm.
should be, sometimes should be used at the end of the sentence, and absolutely, I
Mm.
don't have to mention a noun after this.
Yeah.
Finally, should we go to
Should we
my
go to my office or yours? Same, yours without apostrophe.
yes, exactly, or your
Yes.
office, exactly. Or I can say yours like this, but as you said, without apostrophe, exactly, because this is reflexive pronoun.
Pronoun. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
So this is it, but it's not the end. Now let me tell you something which is extremely important. Okay, now let's talk about this rule. Number 3, apostrophes with certain compound nouns. Now let's talk about these examples of compound nouns like brother-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law,
Okay.
sister-in-law. Some compound nouns don't form their plurals by adding s at the end of them. We have to be careful because the s is added to the principal word. What do I mean by the principal word? Not at the end of the sentence. Let's take a look at this example. So notice this example. I have a brother-in-law. Absolutely, this is the singular one. And a brothers-in-law is the plural one. So notice that if I want to mention the plural, the s shouldn't be used at the end with laws like this, but we have to add the plural s here and with this noun. Okay?
Okay.
And even with compound nouns, Malak, even if it is a plural or if it is singular, the same rule. Let's take a look at these two examples. Notice the example is saying, my brother-in-law's new job, I'm talking about the new job of my brother-in-law, okay, has so many benefits. The second example, so we notice that my brother's plural,
Mm,
in-laws, it's the same. I added
mm,
apostrophe s. Wives
mm,
don't get along very well. So please, sometimes if I want to use a hyphen in joining, for example, compound nouns, be careful because the plural s should not be written at the end, as we said here, but it should be written with the principal word like this. And we have to be careful that both of them, if it is singular, if it is a plural, I have to deal with them by writing apostrophe s.
Okay.
So please be careful because as I told you, sometimes it is little confusing. Okay, now rule number 4 is saying apostrophes with joint ownership. Now, how do we use the apostrophe when we are talking about things, more than one thing, that belong to more than one person? Because maybe I want to mention, for example, two people have two things, for example. What shall I do? Shall I repeat the S or maybe
Mm,
repeat the apostrophe S or maybe add only one apostrophe S? Okay, now the rule is saying when one thing belongs to two or more people, okay, make only the final name possessive. Let's,
okay.
bravo. Let's take a look at these two examples. Notice Susan and Dave's wedding. So we notice that both of them are going to get married. Okay?
Mm,
So Susan and Dave are getting married and have a wedding together. So we notice that because it is together, both of them together, I have only to add, yes, the apostrophe S with the last
name.
noun or name, yes. Okay.
Okay.
And this is the next example. So we notice that Karen and Judy's shop, Karen and Judy have a shop together or own a shop together. So both of them are together. I have only to add apostrophe S with the last noun. Why? Because they are together.
Okay.
Okay. Now the rule is saying when you're talking about separate things that belong to different people, now be careful because I have to make all the names possessive.
Mm,
Yes, let's take a look at this example. Susan's and Dave's wedding. So we notice that Susan is going to get married alone with someone else, and Dave is going to get married alone with someone else. Exactly.
Okay.
So not both of them are going to get married, because if they are going to get married, I have only to add exactly one apostrophe S. So we note that Susan and Dave are each having a wedding, a different wedding. They are not
Yeah.
going to marry each other. It's the same with the final example, Karen's and Judy's shop. So we notice that each one of them has his own or her own shop. And in this
Okay.
example, we notice that both of them have one shop. So because each one of them has a different shop, I have to add apostrophe S for all the nouns that we have, or for both of them. So this is why, Malak, sometimes if I want to use the apostrophe S in its wrong place, this will lead to misunderstanding. Okay?
Okay.
Now let's practice. Where should we place an apostrophe in these sentences?
My mother-in-law's cooking skills are incredible. Apostrophe S.
Ah,
Laws.
okay, apostrophe S.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law's.
Yeah. Just after Y, apostrophe and S.
After Y or after W?
After, sorry, W.
Okay. Okay. What about the next one? My sister's-in-law's cars are both black.
It's the same. We said after Y, after W.
After W or after S?
It's a plural, so after
Ah,
S.
after it's plural because after S.
Yeah.
The difference, Malak, is here mother singular, sisters plural.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to be careful. Okay,
Mm.
so this is it. I have to add the apostrophe after S because I have a plural, and I have to
Plural,
add a bravo before the S because it is singular. And I'm
singular.
talking exactly. Now, Jack and Dave's party was so much fun.
Okay. Apostrophe just with Dave's because it's the same party.
Yes, exactly. I can say Davis's, another is because it's a name, and I
No,
can, oh, bravo, only,
Dave's.
exactly. If you want to, if you want to write, as I told you, more than one apostrophe S for each name, so they have different parties.
Parties, yeah.
Ah,
The last sentence, Karen's and Mary's kids, so are separated. Kids for each person, for
yes,
every.
this is a
So
plural,
Karen's
exactly.
apostrophe S, Mary's apostrophe S. So,
Exactly. That is it. So be careful about using the apostrophe S because as we noticed that if I want to use them in a wrong way, the whole meaning will be changed and maybe it's going to lead to misunderstanding.
okay.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Now, the second usage of the apostrophe is to use it as a contraction or maybe abbreviation. But
Mm.
keep in mind, please, Malak, this is informal. I mean, if you are applying to an international exam like Duolingo, IELTS exam, TOEFL exam, avoid using contractions, avoid using abbreviations. But if you are writing an informal letter, informal email, you have or you can use the abbreviations or contractions, okay?
Okay.
So you know this rule. Now, the a new function of apostrophe is to be used as a contraction. So why? Because a contraction is a shortened form of a word, or maybe a group of words that omits, that deletes certain letters or maybe sounds. In a contraction, an apostrophe absolutely represents missing letters. This is the way that I meant. So notice that I mean I am.
Mm.
He'll, I mean he will. She's, she is, or maybe she has. Absolutely, I have to be careful. Don't, it is do not. Want, it is will not. You have
Okay.
to know, to be honest, all the abbreviations by using apostrophe. This picture shows the abbreviations or contractions that we have in the English language. You can pause the video if you want, or if you want to take a screenshot of
Yeah,
this picture.
it's
Yes, because you need it for
okay.
later usage. Okay, Malak?
Yeah, I did.
But please let me remind you, only in informal writing, you can use abbreviations. Okay, now let's practice because this rule is really easy. Now, where should I place apostrophes in these sentences?
Okay, I am going to the store tomorrow because I didn't go today. So I'm.
Oh, bravo,
It's apostrophe N.
uh-huh, and
Didn't
bravo,
after N.
exactly, you know it. Now, she won't come to the
She
meeting
won't
because, bravo, she won't come to the
want.
meeting because
She,
she's ill. Uh-huh.
she's.
Bravo. She is ill today. Three. Who's
Who's
who,
bringing the beer?
uh, uh-huh.
Who's?
Bravo. Who
Who
is
is?
bringing the beer exactly?
Mm. He
Now,
wouldn't act like that.
bravo.
Wouldn't.
Yes,
Just be.
exactly.
If you
If
were.
you were nicer. So this is it. We notice that the final rule of apostrophe is to be used for contraction or abbreviation. Okay,
Okay.
we notice or we discuss this rule about repeating the S if you are talking about different people or maybe the same category. Let me show you this example. This example is saying her mother's cousin's son won a Nobel Prize. Now, let's take a look at this example. We notice that the son of the cousin of the mother, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so please be careful because sometimes I have to mention the people who possess that thing. So we have a son. This son is for the cousin, and this cousin has a mom. So this is
Mm.
why I want to mention the apostrophe S to mention the position for both of them. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So, for example, her mother has a cousin, and the cousin has a son. So this is why I repeated the apostrophe S.
Okay.
Okay, now let me check if we have something to say. And maybe if you want to mention something, for example, like this, how many M's are there in accommodation? So we notice, for example, that we have two M's.
Mm.
So this is why, if I want to say how many M's are there in accommodation, so I'm searching
Mm.
for M's. This is why I said the
As
apostrophe
refers to
S.
N. No.
Exactly. This is it. It's not that hard. It is really easy. But as we said, sometimes it is little confusing.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have now any questions about using the apostrophe?
No.
Okay, so I suggest to leave just to meet again for discussing a new punctuation mark.
Okay.
Okay, I'm waiting for you.
Okay.
Okay.